Hey, this is Steve. I'm here with Denny and some special guests on PARadio. What's up, Denny?
Not much. How you guys doing?
We're doing good. We're here with Cali Hinsman from Power Athlete HQ and ABell from CrossFit South Bend in Indiana. What's up, Aaron and Cali?
Heyo.
Hey guys, just happy to be here.
Yeah. So I think what we normally do is start talking about the open WODs. And this week, I'd like to get everyone's impression on 13.3 and 13.4. 13.4 is a short little couplet of power cleans and toaster bars. And what was 13.3?
150 wall balls.
Crap ton of wall balls.
Yeah, that's right. I purposely erased that from my memory.
And then I blacked out after that. So
yeah, exactly. So did you guys do 13.3?
I did, of course. Yeah.
Of course. What'd you get?
I got one muscle up, so I am exactly one rep better than I was last year. So
awesome.
You know, us power athletes, we're not exactly muscle up people, my people. I don't really train that movement, but I was just happy that I could, do that much better than last year.
Fantastic. How about you fellas?
I got 205, so I got into 55 of the double unders, and I tried to pace myself on the wall ball. That's not really one of my favorite exercises to do. And my initial goal was to do 3 sets of 25 and then kind of maybe do another set of 25. And that all went out the window probably like on my second set. I think it turned out to go something like a set of 15, 10s, and then a bunch of 5s. And when I got to the double unders, it wasn't like was wearing concrete shoes, but it took a second to kind of get the rhythm going because I was just used to that full squatting, and then I just kind of knocked it out, and that time creeped up on me. But I was happy with getting over 200. The double unders usually that's kind of an exercise that those and handstand push-ups I think just came to me when I first started CrossFit, so. My goal was to get to the muscle ups, but oh well, so be it.
Yeah, maybe next year we can actually say that because it seems to be like a repetitive workout now. So.
Yeah. I realize the reason why they're repeating them, but it seems like lack of creativity to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It seemed, I kind of had the same impression when I saw it come out, and I'm not exactly sure what they're getting at, but I guess we're all comparing ourselves to ourselves the year before, so that's a good thing for anyone to improve on. Yeah,
definitely. Aaron, did you do it?
I did one wall ball to
nice
in the running. I'm really trying to help the gym. In case anything heavy comes up to really help their cause getting to regional. So, we'll see. Maybe I can help them out this week with clean and jerks.
There you go. Nice. Yeah, I ended up getting 3 muscle ups, but on my first rep, I basically shit the bed, went like totally extended, internally rotated. Oh. My judge, who's one of my training partners, like seriously was like, "Can you use your arms?" And I was like, and then I just jumped up and did a triple, and I was like, "Yeah, it's not worth it." I had maybe 50 seconds left, and I was like, "Forget about it. My shoulders are smoked." So, what about 13.4? What are you guys thinking about 13.4?
I did it last night.
No way.
No way.
Give us some strategy.
Yeah, what'd you get?
So I think that I pretty much like when it's a short workout like that and a light weight for me, I think I go too slow. And so I got almost 18 full rounds, and I'm sure that if I did it, I could get through a full 18. I don't know. The weight is light for women. I think it's taxing for men though, 135. And all I can say is it's a forearm burner. I think I could have kept moving if I wasn't such a pussy and I was, my forearms are burning, and just need to kind of mentally prepare myself to suffer a little bit more, and then I know for sure I'll be my last.
Did you clean and go into just like a push press so you can keep your feet at hip width and not so you don't have to waste time going?
I did. You know what? I CrossFitted the shit out of it. So I did it exactly like that. You know, I'm not proud of it, but when you're CrossFitting, do as CrossFitters, you know?
Right. No, I'm just saying, I mean, you want to try to avoid any wasted movement.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yep. Just keep the bar moving. Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I have no idea.
I would have liked to see the weight increase each round.
Yeah.
I think that would really separate people.
Of course.
I agree with you.
When we all.
I think 135 is so light that you can basically just, I mean, after a couple of rounds, you're just going to be smoked in the lungs.
Yeah.
You know, and then hanging on that dumb bar, that's just, you know. But, yeah, I would have liked to see maybe like, I mean, we snatched in 13-1, we snatched 60 kilos, right? So it should have been maybe like 185. 185 would have really separated the pack.
Yeah, I think my advice would just be to go a little more like balls out from the beginning. You know, 7 minutes is not a long time. It actually goes by really quickly. So that's kind of our domain anyway. So
yeah. People talk about pacing. I just feel like pedal to the metal and just, you know, it's about fitness. So pacing, it's a workout. I don't know. It seems dumb to me. All right. Well, that's cool. So Denny, you got some questions for Cali, right?
Well, yeah. I mean, I was kind of, you know, the whole getting across the Power Athlete coaches on is something to be excited about. And this is the first time that I've got to talk to Cali. I know we just became Facebook friends, so I mean we go way back.
That's cute. That's cute.
We're basically family. I mean, we're basically gonna spend Christmas together, I think.
But I was hoping maybe you could just tell everybody a little bit about your background and what are you training for, you know?
Sure. Absolutely. You know, I came from DC all the way out to California to work with CrossFit football, and prior to that, I mean, my basic background is powerlifting, and I only, you know, fairly recently with the onset of CrossFit, I only started CrossFit probably 2.5 years ago or so. That when I got into Olympic lifting and then strongman stuff, and it kind of evolved from there. But that's my wheelhouse is powerlifting. So CrossFit football was a very natural progression for me, and you know, my old training partner, Tex, still in DC, who works with CrossFit football as well. He's the one that pushed me to get involved with football. And I, you know, was so pleased to find something that was so in line with, I'm sure you guys can relate to this, and a lot of the listeners can, so in line with my sort of, I guess my training ethos and my methodology and how I believe that like movements should be performed, and the emphasis on power and speed. And just on basically good movement. And I was really impressed with football, and I followed it for, about a year before I competed at Occupy Strength. And then, you know, one thing led to another, and I, got involved and started talking more and interjecting myself more on the blogs. And, for better or for worse, I ended up all the way out here. So.
That's cool. Did you, was there other females at your former affiliate that were training a CrossFit football program as well? No,
there were a handful of guys that were really avid football followers, and you know, we knew them quite well. And there weren't any females at the time who followed football exclusively, like myself. And so that in and of itself, you know, it was like an instant sort of. I don't know, just felt like an instant thing that we would, I'm sure like you guys feel, we would do it every day. Even, you know, when following football, come in on a Saturday and, you know, wake up early to do it on a Saturday, drive all the way to the gym or walk to the gym or whatever, and get the workout out of the way. You know, God, those Saturday workouts are terrible anyways. So.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they are terrible.
So what if, going with the power athlete theme, what is it that you train for?
So I think that I train for strength. I want to feel strong, and I firmly believe that since I started making such a huge focus in my training, a very strength biased focus, everything in my life is easier, and not just, I mean, literally everything. So everything from carrying groceries to putting top on my Jeep to doing a CrossFit Open workout. I mean, it's just really interesting to me how much transfer there is to Olympic lifting and just WODs in general, my ability to suffer. I just think that strength base has been king for me. And as long as I'm getting stronger, I'm happy. That's what I'm training for. Not to mention it just kind of keeps you sane too. The training.
That's awesome.
So
That's
what are
awesome.
so yeah, that is awesome. And as an older dude with like little ones, that's how I feel. Just want to be strong. Basically just want to be stronger than my kids when they grow up, right? So Cali, what are your stats? What are your Olympic? Like your measurements. What are your? What's your sign?
Inquiring minds.
This radio interview is really taking a turn.
Taking a turn.
What are
Is
your,
this
what are
Playboy Radio or?
I don't
Power
need it, but I'm just saying.
The listeners will expect nothing less from me.
My best lifts are, my bench presses has gone up, like, even, we did like a Bulgarian method, or I have to say I did it on my own for a while, which you guys are familiar with, like a lot of 1 rep maxes, and that's pretty brutal, but I saw my lifts go up. Some of the lifts that I'm most proud about is my bench went up to 182.
Nice.
And my body weight is about 148, 149 now. And let's see, everything overhead went up a ton. So my jerk up to 215, from like 175, which is like laughable now to me. I still struggle with squat. It's pretty low for what I should be doing. I'm squatting around 255, 260, and deadlift blows. Those are kind of my stats. The deadlift needs a lot of work. I think I don't know. I'm not a puller. I'm a pusher for sure.
I like the bench pressing. What do you think of these guys who have weak ass bench presses?
Oh my God.
They can deadlift the house, huge squat,
right.
Beautiful power cleans, and then just pussy ass bench press.
Yeah, I don't know. It's so weird. I don't know what came first, chicken or the egg type scenario. It's like bench press is a bad word to people, because when I was growing up, I feel like all I did was bench press and calf raises and shrugs. So
that's all you need, right?
I know.
It's the American way.
I look back and I'm like, what the fuck was I doing? But the one thing I can say is the bench press is the most functional of all those things. And I don't know why more people they're just in their mind. I think everything is a vertical press. And that's the emphasis in CrossFit. And I understand why. But for our sport, and for just for muscle balance and shoulder girdle stability and transfer to overhead presses, why wouldn't you want to train bench press more? And man, I talk about that for hours with people, and it is sort of appalling, because but it also is, it separates the boys from the men, if you ask me. So it's also good.
Awesome. I love seeing.
Say again?
I was going to say, I was glad to see Aaron's when you posted that in your whole program leading up to your meet, that you included bench press. I was like, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I avoided the bench for a long time, and I don't know if this is a typical case, but the reason I did is because in college I did like the muscle and fitness workout. I didn't have anyone really working with me, so I bench every day. What happened was I destroyed my shoulders.
Aaron,
Can you say that again? Can you hear me?
Waking up.
Okay. I know for me, the reason I avoided bench for a long time is because in college, I benched all the time and just destroyed my shoulders. Like horribly destroyed them. So when I started doing, any other type of lifting, I just avoided the bench like the plague. And I got up, in college, I benched 465. And that's what I did. I didn't squat. I didn't deadlift. I just benched. And so when I hurt my shoulder, both of them, I just avoided it. And I've only recently gotten into it.
Yeah, I think that's true. That's true for a lot of people too. And I think it also comes from lack of training as well. I mean, it's shocking to me, but, I guess I'm sort of getting used to seeing people come to our seminars who have a lot of experience with bench, but no experience bench well. And, so it's just interesting to me to see people, push through the shoulder girdle, and no wonder they're dealing with, overuse injuries and impingements because, the form is just, it's just not where it needs to be.
Aaron,
that was my problem. I'm just a big kid.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think adding or focusing on the bench on your program leading up to your competition, you think that helped get that, what'd you get, a 390 clean and jerk?
Yeah, 390 clean and jerk. I know you guys want me to say that it did. I don't know if it did. The reason I started working bench is that I don't know if it did. I think if you can your bench up to a respectable amount, I mean, it's got to impact your jerk. Just because your triceps and shoulders are going to be stronger, it's got to impact it. The reason I had bench there was to boost my occupy strength total because that was where I had the most room to gain.
Sure.
But,
Nice.
I actually, now that I think about it, if you don't go crazy on the bench to strengthen that movement for yourself, and if you're struggling, jerking like 315, let's say you can't get 315, if you can bench 330, 340, 350, your structures, will be able to support that weight overhead.
100%.
So then it just becomes a technique issue.
100%. I don't think that there's any question or any, question that my jerk went up as a result of my bench, and my bench went up as a result of my jerk as well. I mean, they kind of worked in conjunction with each other. So I agree.
Awesome. All right. So Aaron, we were talking about your meet, and you had something like a high 270, 280 power snatch, and then a 390 clean and jerk. And there's been some recent discussion on another blog about the benefit versus the sort of lack of benefit of doing the power movements. And I wonder your thoughts, and I wonder Callie's thoughts on that.
Well, I'll defer to whoever actually gets paid to tell people how to work out.
Oh, come on now. Come on. You have opinions. You're a thinking individual. What do you think? What do you think? Come on.
Yeah, I have opinions, but for me, the power. I'll start with the power snatch. I was able to get the 286 power snatch. They called me for a press out. I don't know if you guys saw the video. I think that's bullshit, but they call what they call. But so for me, the reason I power snatch is because full snatching is really inconsistent for me.
Sure. Did we lose him?
I think we lost Aaron.
Oh no. Do you want to pick up where he was going?
Let's see. Aaron, you still there?
Aaron, come.
Yeah, his audio was pretty bad anyway. So I think he's trying to come back on here, I think. But Callie, what are your thoughts on it?
I knew where he was going with this. We kind of talked about it before, but my thoughts on the power version. Anybody who's been to our seminar or understands the thought process behind CrossFit football and the power athlete, it all comes down to what you're training for, and that's kind of it sounds like a catch-all phrase, but it really does serve a purpose in talking about Olympic lifting, because what we're really focusing on is that vertical displacement, that display of dynamic power. And the higher you catch a bar, the higher you're jumping, and it's not that complicated. When we receive the bar in that higher position, that means we're able to display weight much further. So for our athletes, we do love that. I mean, that just transfers to sport a lot better for us. And we have a lot of emphasis on squat on its own. And when we do back squat and front squat, that's our opportunity to challenge posture and position. But I know I can take a college football player and have them do power cleans all day, but I could spend a long time just trying to get him to lift heavy weights or even a full squat. You know, if you've got the time to do it eventually, yeah, with like a pretty experienced lifter, yeah, I mean, I don't see any problem with that, but I think, you know, you see where I'm going with this. It's just, we believe catching in that athletic position or above parallel.
Yeah. Yeah. And, you know, quite frankly, and I think Luke and Denny and I emailed about this, but I'm a little bit more impressed by somebody who can power snatch near 300 than somebody who can full snatch near 300. Look, it looks prettier to full snatch. There's no, I mean, like, as far as aesthetics go, you're going to get like beauty pageant awards for looking pretty in the full squat.
That's Ben Oliver all day. He's really good at that.
Yeah, and so that's my training partner, Caleb Williams. I mean, he's, you know, he's probably got the best snatch I've ever seen in person. But I don't. I think one of the benefits of the power snatch for somebody like me who's got thoracic spine mobility issues, tight shoulders from playing ice hockey my whole life and basically bench pressing like a moron my whole life, the split snatch or the power snatch actually gives me, you know, I can still get relatively decent weight overhead and not have to worry about the exact precision. And then I can still, I'm getting that violent hip extension, vertical plane movement, and getting some overhead work and then squatting 2 or 3 times a week anyhow.
Yeah, exactly. And, you know, even I've done Olympic lift meets and I did the power versions because that's what I do. And so, you know, it's not that uncommon, even especially for novices going into an O-lifting competition. So it's not that crazy. I don't think it's that big of a deal.
Yeah. Awesome. Denny, do we have some user questions for Cali?
It looks like we do. I know. Did we get Aaron back?
No. I think Aaron's done. I think his connection is gone. But actually, Aaron did have a question about the scoring for the team series, and so he writes. I get, or Denny, or you can read it. I can read it. It says, very interested in the coefficient you are going to use so that we can make sure that we have the right athletes in the correct lifts. And then he writes, there are 2 Metcons, right? The individual event. So that would be like, if I deadlift, I'm going to do the deadlift Metcon. And then there's a team one for the top 3.
Right.
Is that right?
Yeah. So I'll go to this a little bit. The formula that we're using is Wilks formula, and it's pretty common, especially for like powerlifting totals. And you know, if you guys, whoever's never heard of it, they can just kind of Google it. It's pretty common coefficient though. And what we'll be doing is applying that to the individual lifter and individual lift, and that'll basically give us a set of points, like a point system. And the team will accumulate a set of points based on this formula, and then those points weighed equally with the points that the athletes get. Basically, the Metcons is based on repetitions, so we're weighted evenly with the points that they receive from the repetition of the Metcon, and then that will be like a 50-50 weighted situation, and that'll determine who's top 3. And then top 3 will move on to the final event. But in terms of Metcon, I know he was curious as to if we were going to, for instance, use a percentage of somebody's 1 rep max in a lift. So if I'm squatting 300 or whatever, are they going to take a percentage of that and have to perform it for reps and then maybe some other movement? The answer to that is no. And we had thought about doing that. Logistically, it's hard. Because we'd have to go through and set every Metcon station up perfectly with a perfect percentage. But also, more so, what we want is the Metcon to really, really display athleticism. Your time to show strength is in that CrossFit football total, and your time to display athleticism is in the Metcon, and it's not going to be easy. So if you've been following the site and you kind of follow the Power Athlete methodology, then you'll be well prepared, but it's gonna require agility. It's gonna require plyometrics. It's gonna require some endurance. And so I think that should be enough of like a definitely lateral movement will be involved. So that's kind of how it's gonna work. Hopefully that answers his question.
Yeah, I think one of the other questions he had is on this. I mean, I'm kind of paraphrasing here, but on the point system, is it going to be essentially a ranking-based point system? Because here's the deal: like, look, if I'm my team's deadlifter, right,
Yeah.
and I watch a guy pull 550 and I walk up and pull 551, I basically get the points, but that's not my max deadlift. And
Right.
so are we gaming this? Like, cause he says in here, one of the things he hates about the Ollie competitions is that, when they're so tight, people are playing it by body weight instead of just going for it. Right.
Right. The ranking system is, you will have a rank, but every point matters. So the more you lift, the more points are going to differentiate you, in your place. Does that make sense? So first place is not going to be, equidistant to second place as second is to third, as third is to fourth. I mean, your ranking is your ranking. However, the points are your, if that makes sense. And
that makes total sense.
And that's kind of our emphasis on, like, not having people sandbag and not having people say, well, we need this many points to surpass, so team, and we'll save whatever we have for the next, that's bullshit. And, just like in a game, we want points on a scoreboard. So that's hopefully that will clear that up.
That's awesome. That's great to hear.
We want people going balls out because, that's really the only way to compete in my eyes. I don't want anyone gaming it. I'll know and I'll hunt you down.
Nice. What other questions we got, Denny?
Well, Ingo's asking, Ingo B.
Yeah.
It looks like he's asking about the comments on the blog. How far back does the blog go? For those of us who follow a few days behind, should we even bother inputting? If no one is checking it, I kind of see where he's going.
I think that's up to the individual, but I'm not looking back on the blog 3 days ago. I'll look up to 2 days ago or so. But yeah, I mean, if it's people like the blog use has really evolved. People use as a place to log all their workouts. I love the simple 2-point log of the workouts and then compare it to other athletes. And then some people have it like a diary entry. Some people, every injury or ailment, all the things are great. I think they're really entertaining. And then I myself just use it as a forum to talk shit to whoever I want to at the time. But, I hopefully the Power Athlete HQ will kind of evolve into a sort of a separate focus. I don't know what that is, but I don't know if that answers that question or if I'm just rambling.
I think maybe some of the listeners out there might get the idea that all that information goes into like
a system.
The strength, the Power Athlete Strength headquarters, and you guys are sitting around this table with your laptops, crunching the numbers, creating, like a bunch of mad scientists creating like the programming as that data comes in.
So we have an intern. We don't have somebody doing that. I certainly don't get paid to do that. But what I can say is that there will be a forum. We hope on the Power Athlete site to do just that, and be sort of a running mad scientist experiment for people games over a and I can't say for sure because Luke, he's a mad scientist in and of himself, and so he may be doing that. Don't think that we're not sitting around a table with our laptops out, looking at all of the comments and blog entries. We see everything, so that we do pay attention to it. But Luke is the data man, and he's probably got spreadsheet and then paper copies to back that up, and like stone tablets to back that up. So I don't know.
Nice.
Yeah, and I don't know, Luke isn't here, but he and I emailed offline this week too. Because of what I do, I'm a scientist by day. I also offered some of my my assistance in actually doing some long-term data analysis, looking at things like are people our diets and sleep and those sorts of things impacting performance over time in a real like quantitative fashion across some of the users on the CFFB site. That's like to be developed.
Yeah, that's amazing. I think that'll be sort of an awesome thing to gauge progress, or just kind of see how people are implementing the program in varying degrees and how it's affecting their performance in varying degrees. So I'm definitely interested to see that. I know we can all talk about our kind of anecdotal stories of how it's worked for us, but it'd be nice to have a little data to back that up.
Yeah, that's kind of how I feel. Yeah. Awesome. I think we have do we have one more question, Denny?
Well, Red Bull on the forum earlier this week, he posted the question out there to anybody, really asking he says, do you think you can train speed as in getting quicker if one doesn't have the ideal genetics? Or no, he's saying, do you think it's purely on genetics as far as speed, or can it be trained to the best of your potential?
I mean, it's kind of funny coming from a guy his name is Red Bull. Just I'm sure I mean, you gotta just have 5 of those and tell him you don't run faster. I don't know. No, I mean, I think this question is it's a common one, but I mean, what do you think? I mean, the thing is, if you train for speed, you're getting faster. Of course, there's a genetic potential involved, and they may reach a point where your current, what you hope they would be, kind of like in the amateur profession or something like that. I mean, you reach that genetic potential, but obviously, if you're training for speed, you're going to get faster. It's just how much focus are you putting on? What are the intensity of the speed workouts you're doing? And I think that's just a problem. I mean, people, they don't know how to train for speed, but the answer is so simple. If you want to get faster, you have to train fast. You have to run fast. You have to be explosive off the blocks. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I mean,
absolutely.
It comes back to the old power athlete question, which is, what are you training for? If you're training for speed, then you're going to get faster. And I think when we talk about things like, from my perspective, when you talk about things like genetic potential, I think people toss that term around like it's like the word right? Like, oh, I've reached my genetic potential. But is your sleep optimized? Is your diet optimized?
Right.
Have you had the blood test done and optimized everything from probiotics to bloods, whatever? I mean, there's lots of ways you could spend lots of money figuring out really pushing red line on your genetic potential. I don't think most of the average, garage gymmers or CrossFitters have gone that route.
Not at all. Yeah, I agree. And that's, I think, it's funny if you're talking about like sprinting specifically. I mean, how many boxes or how many gyms really train sprint, like the sprint work? I mean, not very many. And, even when you get people on the site, it drives me nuts when people on the site see a sprint workout and, they're saying how easy the workout was, or man, this one was difficult. Are you guys even sprinting? Are you going out? Did you, take the appropriate warm-up sprints and then make sure that every one of your work sets with full speed? Are you timing them to make your work within like several seconds of your best time? So, I mean, all those things need to be considered when you're talking about faster.
Yeah. All right. Well, Denny, you have any closing comments?
Well, I guess, Cali, I'd like to know what your favorite Star Wars movie is and why. Because I know me personally, I'm an episode 3 guy. I mean, that's what I've been waiting. That was a story I needed to see. From I remember when the first 3 came out. In the later 70s. I mean, I was a kid then, but I always wanted to know, how Darth Vader became Darth Vader. So when episode 3 came out, I was like, it was like a fulfillment of my life. I could kind of close that chapter. So I see you're a big Star Wars buff too. So I want to know what your favorite movie is.
Denny, you are dead to me. I just want to throw that out there. Episode 3, are you being serious right now? No, episode 4. That's we could about this for hours, and we're running low on time, but we can have an entirely different radio episode on this topic alone. But I appreciate you calling me out in front of everyone else is a nerd, but I'm not closet Star Wars fan. Like, I am open about it. True.
There's nothing to be ashamed of.
Yeah.
No, there's just I saw the movies as a kid, and I didn't see them in the theater. I'm not that old or anything, but I did see them, and they captivated me, and I'll never forget the very first movie. So I think it does have some nostalgia with it, and I think it's perfection. And so I can cheese on this all day, but but I won't.
How do you feel about who was it? I don't know who it was that bought the right to the Star Wars stuff now, but they're going to do
Disney. Walt Disney?
Yeah, that's right, Disney. They want to do some new ones with, like, Harrison Ford and
no, you know what? I'm not happy about any of that. Listen, I'm an old-fashioned gal, and I don't want to see any new movies. I didn't even want to see the new movies. I didn't want to see 1, 2, and 3. I didn't want to see any of those. But you have to, because you're a slave to the trilogy, and so you have to go do it. But I do not want to see any TV shows come out. Harrison Ford, I just want him to die a handsome man like he was in my mind for episode 3. So that's it.
Cool. All right.
Awesome. Well, I'm an Empire guy.
Okay.
All right.
So,
fine.
yeah, it's okay. All right. Well, thanks. That's Power Athlete Radio. Cali, thanks for being on with us. And Denny, we'll catch up next week.
Awesome. Thanks again. Thanks, Cali.
All right. Bye, guys.
Bye.